Hello, my name is Dave Apsley. I'm a forester and a natural resources specialist for Ohio State University Extension. Last Friday on October 9th, we did a program on mapping your woodlands. And we had Stephanie Downs from Division of Forestry talk about Avenza, which is a GPS, phone-based GPS app that you can use to map things on the ground on your property. We had Eric Hayes from the Athens Soil and Water Conservation District talk about the county auditor websites and what information you can glean from them. And then we jointly talked about some programs that are available, some software that's available out there. So one of the things we briefly mentioned is my land plan. And I actually did about a 25, 30-minute video using PowerPoint to explain all the features of my land plan. But what I wanted to do with this short video is just do a quick test drive of my land plan to show you how you actually put in boundaries or put in features on the map. The rest of the program's pretty easy to work. So all you need to do is go to your web browser and type in mylandplan.org. It's going to take you to this site. If it's your first time there, you're going to hit Get Started, and it'll ask you for your email address and a password and some more information. And then once you've already created that account, you just go to log in, type in your email address. And it looks like it's already here, and your password. And it'll bring you into My Land Plan. I'm going to delete a property here because I've been playing on here before we got on. But as you can see, this is my property. It's got lots of information there. And you can add multiple properties. So that when you first come on, there won't be a property there. But if you've already got a property there, just add a new one. Just hit Add Property. You'll get little pop-ups with more information. And we're going to just use Cantor's Cave 4-H camp as an example. If you type in the address, and you've got a good address for a property, it'll zoom you right into that area so you can start mapping. So it also asks if you're a member of the tree farm system, and you don't have to answer that, but if you're a tree farmer, you might as well put your tree farm number in. And then it'll zoom you right to the map of the address that you put in. You'll notice you can, if you use your little scroll button on your mouse, if you hold the control button down, you can zoom in and you can zoom out. When you come into this site, you'll be in satellite mode, so you'll see an aerial image in the background. And if you're in a part of the state where you don't have parcel boundaries available on mapping programs like this, then you'll have to use that image to pick out where you think that boundary is. And that's a little more difficult. But what I recommend, the first thing you do is click from satellite to map mode. We're in map mode, you're going to just see roads, streams, highways, and stuff like that. But you'll notice as you start zooming in with this plus button, you'll get to a certain point and the parcel boundaries will pop. So we really recommend you get familiar with your parcels that you own or that you're managing. And then you can actually just trace your property boundaries from these parcels. So we're going to just trace part of the boundaries of Cantor's Cave here. And I've got to zoom to the right level. Excuse me. You're just going to click Add New Boundary. And when you do that, you're going to see a little crosshair. And that crosshair will allow you to go to an intersection of property boundaries and click. And as you work your way around, it's going to put a very faint white line around that boundary. And all you need to do is trace around the boundary of this property, which this is extremely complicated one because this property boundary actually pretty much follows a cliff line. So it's not a very straight boundary. And if you get off to the edge like I just did, you can hold the shift key down and scroll down on the image. So you go down to here, I hit shift, and then I can pull this image up and work my way around the boundary again. So we're just working our way around the boundary. When you get to the end, you double click, and actually made a mistake. I wanted to go further down, and I'll actually show you how you do an edit. So I really wanted to follow this line down, and I got confused. All you do is grab a point and pull it where you want it to go, and it'll move it for you. So you just grab these points and pull them, and whenever you grab a point, it creates another midpoint, so you can make some edits. So editing boundaries is just that simple. So now we have a boundary that we've entered. We can zoom out if we want to see if it looks about right, and it does. So all you do is say save and map my features. And when you do that, it's going to take you out of the property boundary area. And if you own the same property, you probably don't need to do that ever again until you buy new properties or add new properties. So there's the property boundary traced over the layer of the satellite image. So now you can kind of maneuver around on this image and you can start seeing where things fall when it comes to property boundaries. For instance, you want to know, well, how close does the pond come to my property boundary? And you can see in this image, it goes right through the tailwater area. And that's in fact where it actually falls out there. So if I wanted to map that pond, I can hit add new features, draw an area. So the area is anything that you have a rectangular or what we call a polygon. In this case, it's a pond or a lake. So I can click on that and you get the crosshairs again and you just trace around the pond or lake. And you can trace up to your boundary, however you decide you want to do it. But I'm going to trace this pond. When you get to the end, as in the property boundary, you double click, it's going to save that. So now if I go to this area, I can actually edit things, like you can change details. So I want to call this Dave's pond, how about? And you could say great for catfish. I don't know, whatever you want to put, you can put more information in there. One thing you'll notice on this little pop-up window though, it tells you how many acres it is. So right away, that's one great feature of my land plan is once you put a boundary around something, it's going to tell you the acreage of it. Hit save and close and click on these map features again, and you'll see the pond pops up here. You can also click on the overview section, show the map features, and it mentions the ponds there and how big it is. So let's add a couple more features. Let's say we want to know how long the driveway is because we're going to purchase some gravel and freshen it up. So you hit draw, add new features, draw a line. Let's call it a road. And then we're going to zoom in again. And again, you can hit the control button and zoom. You can move around a little bit. And then let's just start clicking our way down the driveway until we get to the end of the driveway. Ooh, not sure what I did there. I'm gonna have to try that again. I think I accidentally hit one of these other buttons. So let's zoom in just a little bit more and try that again. Again, you can't mess much up with this, so don't be afraid to play. So add new features, draw a line. Since it's a road or a linear feature, we're going to add a road. And then we got a crosshair and we just trace our way out the driveway here. If you wanted to pick up these side driveways, you could do that as well. When you get to the end, you double click. It's going to save it. If you click on one of the points, you can actually move it or fix it. If you click on the line in between, you should be able to edit that feature. And right now, I think we're having some problems with the internet slowing down. But now you can see that driveway is 1,863 feet long. We can change the name of it to main driveway. You could say it's gravel. You could say save and close. And again, if you go back out and click on these map features again, the driveway pops up there and you can click on it and it tells you how long it is. It's just a really great little feature out here. And then let's add another feature. Let's add an object. So let's add a general point, for instance, and let's hit control and we're going to zoom in and let's just mark the pool. So you can click on that, change the details and call it cement pond. Anybody recognize the Beverly Hillbillies reference there? Okay, so then if you go to the overview page, you can show your features and it shows you what you've mapped. And again, it keeps track of all the acreages. So think about an area you want to plant trees and you need to know how many trees or how much fertilizer or how much seed. Just a great feature to keep these maps. And you can use this to navigate around You can go to this map features link here and hit feature layers, and you can turn things on and off. So if you don't want to see all your trails or drives and you just want to see features like ponds, you can click on the pond. If you've got a ton of trails and you want to make them go away or just focus on them, you can just focus on the trails, whatever you want to do, but you can turn them on and off. You can have a really long list. I probably have 50 things on my map that I can turn on and off. So it's a great program. Let's go back to the overview real quickly and just talk about a few other features. It's got an area called setting goals. My land plan has some built-in goal setting that you can just pick and choose from. And again, we're getting some really slow internet today, so I may or may not be able to feature that. But anyway, when you click on add goals, it'll come up with a list of goals that are common for woodland owners, like manage for wildlife, and it may be game wildlife and specific to deer, or it might be just general wildlife like songbirds. So it gives you lots of options to choose from their goals or create your own goals. You can also create a list of activities, things that need done, like maybe freshening up the paint on your boundary or contacting a forester to get help. Whatever those are, you can list those activities there. You can actually plan and log tasks. Well, there's the goals. It took a while, but they popped up. So they've got major categories like enjoy it, protect it, make it healthy, profit from it, and pass it on. And that really gets into their legacy planning, which I highly recommend you dig into as well. So again, lots of features on here. Let's go back to overview real quickly. You can also do journaling. If you just like to go to the woods and take pictures, it's a good place to put that information. If you've treated an area for invasive species and you might have used an herbicide and you want to have records, good records of that, you can put all that stuff on this site, either under journaling or under tasks or under activities. And it just gives you a tool to keep up with the management of your property. Again, it does not replace a forest management plan, a stewardship plan, or a woodland management plan. But what it does is help to bring that plan to life. So many of us, and I'm as guilty as anybody else, so get a management plan written. We put it on a shelf and we don't think about it for a while. But if you use my land plan and interact with it regularly, it can be a great tool to help you actively manage your property. One other feature I want to mention, there are two other features. There's one is a forester listing, and there actually is a place that foresters can register, and you can contact foresters through that. And so those are more likely to be familiar with my land plan. And then resources. So by state, there are hot links to some of the resources that are out there as well. I noticed Ohio could use some updates. But again, it's American Tree Farm System and American Forest Foundation's way of trying to connect woodland owners like you to the resources. So with that, have a great day, and please take part of it to spend it in the woods. Thanks, and have a great day.